Hey, horror fans! Once again, it is me, the Horror Miser Manichi. It's time to review the latest horror film from one of the characters that have entered the public domain. Yes, this time it's Popeye the Sailor Man, but this one is called Popeye the Slayer Man because I am what I am.
Y'all ready for this?
Once again, it is me, the Horror Miser Manichi. Now, Popeye the Slayer Man is a 2025 American horror film. It was directed by Robert Michael Ryan. The film was written by Kyle Calvin, John Doolin, and Jeff Miller. Now, the film stars Elena Giuliano, Dean Michael Conway, Mabel Thomas, Angela, I think it's pronounced Reluso, Marie Louise Bosnier, and Jason Robert Stevens. Now, in this film, a curious group of friends sneak into an abandoned Spanish canning factory, investigate the legend of the Sailor Man, who is said to haunt the factory and the local docks. Why are you going to go there? Stay home. Now, for all you millennials and other young people out there, the character of Popeye the Sailor Man was created by American cartoonist Elsa Chrysler E.C. Sager in 1929. Now, he first appeared in the comic strip Thimble Theater before the strip was later renamed Popeye in 1933, then was later turned into a cartoon short featuring the spinach-loving hero. Basic stories involving Popeye would see him fighting for the love of his girlfriend Olive Oil against either his rival Brutus or Bluto, depending upon which version you saw, or saving her from various enemies where he would eat his spinach and beat the crap out of them. And then at the end of the cartoon, he would say because he ate his spinach because he's Popeye the Sailor Man and blows his pipe. Now, Popeye has appeared in numerous comic books, video games, and also he was featured in the 1980 live-action film where the late great comedian Robin Williams played the pipe-smoking, spinach-eating hero. That was actually a pretty good movie, too. I actually did like it. Now, Popeye, just like with Winnie the Pooh, Peter Pan, Bambi, and others, have entered into the public domain, so horror filmmakers are making horror films based upon Popeye and characters from his comics. And that brings us to American filmmaker Robert Michael Ryan' latest project and his version of Popeye, his horror version. This one is called Popeye the Slayer Man. Get it? Not Sailor Man, but Slayer Man. Taking place in a fictional town called Anchor Bay, a group of young people, we have Seth, Olivia, Lisa, Dexter, and Adrian, decide to break into the abandoned spinach canning factory to film a documentary in hopes of exposing the rumored illegal activities that caused the factory to close in the first place. Why? We don't know why. Now, of course, the factory is supposed to be haunted by the ghost of the Sailor Man, but that doesn't stop them. And of course, once they find out he's real, they're now trapped in the factory and must fight for their lives. It's kind of basically what this film is about. Nothing grand, nothing spectacular, just your typical slasher film with a Slayer Man. Now, to be honest, horror fans, I didn't have much faith in this particular version of Popeye to be better than the other two versions of Popeye that are coming out later on this year. Now, Popeye's Revenge was terrible. I mean, if you want to see a very bad horror film, Popeye's Revenge is that. And then we have Shiver Me Timbers. That was just released. But as far as this one, this was a little better than Popeye's Revenge, but not by much. I mean, I'll at least give Robert some credit. He was able to film his version of Popeye in an abandoned warehouse on location, and I think it's Ornita, New York, somewhere in upstate New York. If I got my facts correct, where this town is located at, he actually filmed it in an abandoned warehouse that was there in this particular city in New York. Unlike with Popeye's Revenge, you can tell most of those were just set stages, not even actually filmed on location anywhere. And other than some great practical effects, not great, but great. He actually does use practical effects. It's kind of the best thing that Robert does for this film. It's a film lacks any type of atmosphere that you need for a film like this. The cinematography is like, ooh boy. I mean, there's nothing is done right in this particular film. I mean, at no time at all do you feel that Olivia and her friends are in any type of danger from the Sailor Man, as there is no tension or suspense in this film. If you want to at least have the appearance of any type of danger, you have to have the right type of atmosphere and you have the right type of suspension and suspense. I mean, at least with Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, and the second film, at least it had some atmospheric. It actually had some tension and suspense. This film has none of those things in here. Now, the acting is what you expect from a low budget horror film, but you would at least would believe that Robert be able to get some type of emotion out of this cast. I mean, all of them are just bland, flat, and boring, and they don't do anything to make the audience care enough for them to survive this nightmare. I mean, I guess the lead actress, Alina Giuliano, who plays Olivia, she's it looks like she's the lead in this one. I guess we're supposed to feel sorry for her, but even she can't do anything else in this particular script other than just look pretty. Of course, the script that Kyle Calvin and his writing partners, John Doolin and Jeff Miller, don't do it. They don't allow any kind of character development, even with that so-called twist they include in this particular film doesn't help neither. It's just flat and boring. I mean, even at the part where we get these supposedly tough bad guys that's abusing one of their friends. I think it's Adrian, her boyfriend. They supposedly bring that up, but even they can't do anything to elevate this film. Speaking of the so-called twist, I'm sure everyone would see this twist coming a mile away, and it offers no surprise. It doesn't even provide the type of emotional connection I'm sure the filmmakers were going for. I mean, I guess right around the middle of the second act of the film, I guess what the twist was. So when it actually happened, it didn't surprise me at all. I guess he decided to include it because it has something to do with Popeye's mythos, but it certainly does not do anything for this film. Now, as for Popeye himself, Jason Robert Stevens, I mean, he's a big guy. He does look intimidating when trying to play Popeye, but that mask is terrible. It looks like a bunch of plastic. It's like a bunch of plastic. Look even worse than the mask that they used in Winnie the Pooh, the first film. And then it muffles his voice when he speaks. And every time when he speaks, it made me laugh every time when he spoke because of it doesn't even have an intimidating voice. I mean, it's like, God, you could have done something better to spend some money on his mask. Now, as I stated before, the only redeeming qualities of this film is the practical effects. They're average, but then again, unfortunately, half these characters do dumb, stupid things like running here instead of running to the door. You actually have a cell phone. They have a cell phone, but instead of actually dialing 911, they don't do shit at all. They just like hide and scare and cower. And then other couple people, they do something stupid and easily fall to their deaths. There's no logic into this particular film at all. Again, well, not as bad as Popeye's Revenge, it's still just as bad as the other public domain horror films that have been created. Such as Mickey's Mousetrap, Peter Pan's Neverman Nightmare, and The Legend of Jack and Jill. All these films, including this one, are just very bad horror films. And don't forget, we still have plenty of these horror films that are based on children's characters out now in the public domain. Let's not forget, we do have Bambi, The Reckoning, Pinocchio Unstrung, which is part of the Twisted Childhood universe with a TCU, and of course, Screamboat. That's another one of those films based on Steamboat Willie. Now, I don't know if any of these horror films are going to be any good, but I get the feeling that these films will just be as bad or as terrible or worse than what we've seen so far before. They're just poorly made. I wouldn't say poorly made, they're just very bad horror films. Bad acting, no character development, bland, flat acting, and the only saving grace is we get some decent practical effects, but that's about it. So I'm going to give Popeye the Slayer Man only one out of my 5 bloody gold coins. As a matter of fact, I might even exchange it and see one out of some radioactive spinach cans out of 5. Hey, he's Popeye the Slayer Man because I am what I am. So there you have it, horror fans. That is my video and review of Popeye the Slayer Man. Hope you did enjoy it. And if you did, please give me a thumbs up, like, and share. It really helps out with the YouTube algorithm. Have you actually seen this movie? What do you thought about it? Do you want to eat some spinach? Please leave your comments in the comment section below and tell you what you thought about the film. Also, if you're new here, please hit that subscriber button, ring that notification bell. That way you notify anytime when I put up new videos such as this one. Once again, my name is Lamont Smith, better known as the Horror Miser Money G, and always remember that rules. I see you in my next video. That guy, stay safe out there.